America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Jersey Shore Radio Show. I'm your host, Damon Galdo. My co-host, Peter Sykes. Pete is not in studio today. He had a meeting to be at, so he should be on the line right now. You there with me?
Hey, Damon, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just good.
All right, buddy.
So just wanted to start off this week. Start off with a monologue. Every time I sit behind this mic, I remind myself why I started the show and why you do the show in the first place. It wasn't really for us. It wasn't for likes. It wasn't for approval for some corporate overlord or, political puppet master. No, it was for truth. It was for you, for the listeners out there. It was for the future of this country, which is our country. We live in a time where saying what you believe can get you canceled. Well, that's if you're on the more common sense side of things anyway. Where standing up for faith, family, and freedom makes you a target. The media lies, social media censors, education system rewrites history, and our justice system, well, let's just say Lady Justice ain't no blind anymore, especially when you're standing on the wrong side of the establishment. But here on Jersey Shore Radio Show, we don't flinch, we don't back down, we tell it how it is, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because if we don't fight for what's right, who will? This isn't just a radio show. It's line in the sand, a place where common sense Americans can come together, speak freely, and stand strong against the tide of Marxism, corruption, and moral decay. We believe in God, we believe in the Constitution, we believe in hard work, truth-telling, and holding the line for the next generation, and that's our children. Because if we don't protect this country, they won't have one left to inherit. So if you're tired of being lied to, if you're done being told to sit down and shut up, and if you've had enough with government and their media mouthpieces telling you how to think, what to believe, and being threatened to conform to their new radical ideas, then you're in the right place. So this is Jersey Shore, and we're just getting started. What do you got, Pete?
Well, you're absolutely right, Damon. It's all about standing up and telling the truth. It's crazy how, the propaganda media can just convince people that things aren't real. It's things that we know are real. We've lived our whole lives knowing that they're real. And now all of a sudden, 5 minutes ago, they decided, no, that stuff is no longer real. And this is the new truth. And it's like, wait a second. We know that those are all lies. So how can they be true?
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we do, man. And we need more people to stand up and speak the truth. Truth is power. We need to continue to speak it no matter how hard they come against us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what I encourage people to, again, callers, you can call in 856-696-0092. We get a lot of callers that call in, people that agree with what we're saying, but I always prefer to have someone to call in that disagrees and have an actual conversation. Again, I've got to make that clear. Conversation works both ways. It's not just yelling one way. If you ask me a question, I will answer it and maybe follow up with a question for you or make a statement, one or the other. But I'd like to have the conversation because, again, maybe you could teach me something. Maybe I could teach you something. It's all about the conversation because when we don't talk, we don't get anywhere. I mean, just look at, Russia and Ukraine right now. I mean, Putin, he doesn't want to talk. Ukraine's ready. The 30-day ceasefire, they signed up for that a month ago, and Putin never did it. And Putin still was going to do the one-day ceasefire over Easter, and he lied about that, and Trump, called him out on it and how upset he was about it. So hopefully they're doing something about that. And I just saw some stuff on the news. Heading over here was listening to Trump speak, and they were asking questions about that. And he's optimistic about getting Putin to the table, but you don't know about that guy, so who knows?
Yeah, I hope so, man. Listen, we're so tired of war around here, Damon. I'm all about pro-human versus anti-human. And war is the epitome of anti-human. Lives sacrificed, over what? Like, what's the reason? We're in, 21st century. We can't, speak about things and get past it. We always have to resort to violence. I mean, we should be beyond that at this point in time.
Yeah, we should. And, like Trump had said before, the war would probably never start if he was in office. We have a caller on the line. Pete, hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you from? I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
It's Al. The biggest beef I have is the internet because I'm 65, but so many young folks today get all their news and information off the internet, and the internet is not like guarded or, restricted to any kind of crap. And it's a shame that there's so much false information on the internet, and it's killing our country because people get beliefs and they go crazy with them.
No, you're absolutely right about that but that's why you have to check multiple sources. Anyone can say whatever they want to say on X, and then X will kind of do a fact check. I think Facebook does the same type of stuff, but you still can't even go with their fact check. I mean, you have to look at.
But it's like. But there's a law that when the internet first started, I think it's 215. I'm not sure what the number was. It was 215 or 214, and they didn't govern the internet because they wanted to thrive and explode, but they never put it in check. And something needs to be done because if you're 3610, one of the major, they'll get fined if they put false information out. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, it was
but the internet doesn't.
Yeah, it was actually Section 230.
I'll tell you
is that what it was?
Here's my problem with that statement, okay, is I understand what you're saying, and there is a lot of false information out there, but think about going way back in time, okay, when all they had was a newspaper, all they had was a radio. You couldn't go ahead and, you wouldn't know all the information that we have access to today. So while, yes, it is a little bit like the Wild Wild West, and you do have to do your research, we have access to so much more information. And I think that has a lot to do with the Great Awakening that we're seeing right now, where people are waking up and saying, look, we don't believe the lies anymore.
Right. And you know what else is funny? If you ever noticed any of the big scandals, even going back to Nixon and Watergate, it was the newspapers that uncovered this stuff. And it's like, why do they have better explorers or investigators than our government,
Who's that? You're talking about the internet? Social media platforms?
No, I'm talking about back in the day, like, say, when the Nixon scandal went down. It was the New York Press or whatever, Bernstein that uncovered the tapes and everything, but our government didn't know about it, but yet the newspaper knew about it. It's like there needs to be.
They just don't want to, admit it.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing. And back then you had journalists that actually wanted to get the real news out there, not suppress it or they're not bought by a certain party or either way.
Right. But I wish there was more newspapers around these days because they got good investigators.
The problem is now is that the newspapers are out there, but they all lean left. They don't want to report real news. They want to report propaganda and narrative. So
I can't.
It's flipping.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I got a problem with Fox because they're always one-sided. I always like to hear both sides, but I don't think the news media should be involved in one side. That's not their job. Their job is to report the news. That's it, period.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I will say one thing about Fox. Fox is definitely one-sided, but they admit it. They say that they lean to the right. They don't hide it like the other stations. They don't say, "No, we're just reporting the news equally." No, you're not. I mean, Fox will at least say that they are. That they lean to the right. But I believe I mean, I'm not just one of the people just sticking up for Fox. There's some stuff that Fox says that I don't agree with, and I look it up myself, and it may be wrong because they lean a little bit too far to the right. But I think they give the news better than most news stations because they will tell the truth. They're not afraid to say it. They're not beholden to. They don't receive any taxpayer dollars like the New York Times does, a $3.1 million contract that they got from the government, from the Biden administration. What was that? PBS and was a radio. NPR. Yeah, they had like a $51 million contract from the government as well. So they're telling them what to say.
My favorite news source is PBS. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of like true to the fact. There's no like commercialism and all that crap.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say the best thing is that's why I said earlier, like if people that disagree, like if I'm saying something and you disagree and I'm wrong about it, I'd rather call in and say, listen, no, where'd you get that from? And I'll tell you where I got it from, and I'll cite different sites, and maybe I can be wrong. And maybe they can show me something else. I'll look it up myself. I mean, if anybody wants to challenge me to go look at something, I will definitely look at it. I want to educate myself on it 100%. But that's what you have to do. You have to do your due diligence. But a lot of times people don't have the time to do it. You get home from work, you pop the TV on, and they give you the news. You're like, oh, that must have happened today. And the way they just said it.
All right, so Al from Medford for president. All right.
Al from Medford.
Brother.
I got it, Al. Thanks for calling in.
All right, man.
All right, Al for president. All right. 2028. So, you still there, Pete?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. So, but yeah, I don't know if Vance would have to say about that. I think he might be running out. So.
Yeah, well, Al's going to have some stiff competition.
Yeah. So, so what's been going on? You tell me something about, medical schools.
So I was just looking up, right, reporting to Daily Wire. So starting yesterday, Trump came out with more executive orders, and let's see here. He's going against the accreditors are apparently abusing their authority and trying to promote DEI in universities. Okay, so Trump, he's putting the executive order. We're not going to allow that anymore. So then I go ahead and see this other post that they have here, and apparently the medical schools all around the country have been changing their medical views and how they teach their classes. They've even went as far as to change the Hippocratic Oath to reflect DEI, gender, race, equity. They no longer want to use terms like obese or morbid obesity. They want to use terms such as larger than normal people. And it's unfortunately these are doctors, right, that are coming out. And, just because you want to live in fairyland and make everything nice and pretty, I mean, that's not the way the world always works. And we need our doctors to actually know medicine.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, well, anyone that's listening out there, I mean, listen, I'm just going to put it straight, because it's just a fact. So if what you mentioned earlier, Peter, like kidneys. Say someone had to remove your kidneys. Say you're getting a kidney transplant. Doctor shows up, don't care what he looks like. But this doctor says, yeah, I've successfully, done 250 kidney transplants. All right, great, 250, success. All right, let's go, Doc, let's get it in. Do you do that? Or you turn around and say, Doc, no, I'm sorry. I don't care how successful you were. I don't care how you're top of your class. I don't care that nobody died on your table or, everything was successful. If you're not, Mexican and you're illegal and you're trans, then I don't want you. I want somebody that looks like that. I don't care how many kidney replacements they've done. I just want someone that looks like that. And obese, too. Okay, there we go. We'll throw that one in there, too. They have to fit those checkoff boxes for them to give me my kidney transplant.
That's it. So here it goes, right? Produced by a nonprofit group, Speech First, examined 54 public medical schools across the United States, seeking to document how diversity, equity, and inclusion mandates are being enforced throughout medical education. All right, let's see. 99% of America's top medical schools now mandate commitments to racial justice ideology, while 89% did so for gender ideology. So we're taking our healthcare system and we are basically making sure that they are going to stop worrying about healthcare and start worrying about political ideologies.
See, that's insane. And for the record, by the way, if there was an illegal trans obese Mexican that was the best in the world to give me a kidney transplant, I'd be right by I want them right by my side. So
Exactly. Well, that's what I want. Are you going to save my life, or am I going down the tubes?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
So I don't know, man. And, I mean, that's why I'm glad. I'm going back. I was talking about a monologue that I wrote a while ago. This is before Biden got in. Yeah, it talked about a bunch of different things. It was just about what it was like. How do we get you ever stop and ask yourself what the hell happened to common sense? When it become controversial, we had a place where saying secure the border was offensive to say we got to secure our border, and that's offensive. But handing out hotel rooms and cash to people who broke our laws is compassionate. Our own veterans sleep on the street while illegal immigrants get 3 meals and a lawyer. It was insanity. It's not compassion. It's criminal neglect of your own people. And this is before Trump got in. I wrote this a while. I don't think I ever got to talk about it. But I mean, some women's sports, or should I say formerly women's sports, because now if you're a biological man, you feel pretty, you can smash records and take scholarships and share a locker room with young girls. Now that's starting to go away. People have spoken in November, and they elected Trump to get rid of that stuff. So I mean, that's going away. That's where we were, and we're trying to get out of that. We're trying to get back to common sense. And it doesn't stop there. They're not just going after rules of sports. They're going after the minds of our children. They're teaching little kids that gender is a costume and America is evil. They replace reading, writing, and arithmetic with pronouns, privilege, and propaganda. It's not education. It's indoctrination. We're trying to get rid of that. And we're working on it, and it's looking positive that we're going to get back to common sense, normal things. And it's wrapped up in the DEI nonsense: diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I say what it really means is division, entitlement, and incompetence, or didn't earn it. That's what DEI stands for me, because we're based on merit. That's what it should be. So you shouldn't have to check a box to get a job. Whoever does the best job, someone's going to build me a house. I want a good carpenter. I want everything plumb and square and the way it's supposed to. I want my house not to blow over in a storm. I don't care what you look like or whatever it is. Doesn't really matter to me. If you can tell me you can build it, you're the best, go ahead and have at it.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about, right? Meritocracy. I mean, it's we just want people that are competent, the best at what they do. We want people to strive to be the best at what they do. And, when you go ahead and you put in these different programs, I mean, there's no encouragement to do your best, right? It's like it doesn't matter how hard you try. If you don't fit these certain brackets, you ain't getting a shot.
Yeah, you're right. And again, it just doesn't make sense at all. I mean, that's what Harvard's going through right now, and that's why they're pulling federal funding. Not just because of that; it's because of violating civil rights laws and stuff like that for anti-Semitism and all that. That's why they're getting federal funding pulled. But when you look at Harvard and hundreds of other colleges, if an Asian person took a test to get into Harvard, they automatically had 300 test points removed from whatever they scored. If a white person took entrance exam for Harvard, automatically had 100 points removed. But a DEI person, and whoever that would be considered, whatever they scored. So anybody that worked harder, studied harder, paid more attention, they gave it to people that have a lower bar. And it's not, it's not going to help. I mean, people are good at whatever they're good at. I mean, I can't, I'll never go to Harvard. I'm never going to go to Harvard and get straight A's. It's not happening. So
no, I don't want to go to Harvard and get straight A's. I got news for you.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I'm not. I'll never play in the NBA. It's not going to happen.
You're a little short for that, buddy.
Exactly. So that's my whole point. There's certain things that people are good at. If you're not good at getting good grades in Harvard, then you shouldn't lower the expectations to get in. I mean, Harvard is there for a reason. It was supposed to be one of the most prestigious schools in the country. And
well, what that does, though, is it promotes mediocrity. And we want people to excel. I mean, that's why America was so good in the past, because we've always tried to excel at whatever it is that we've done. And over the past 10 years or so, I mean, we just, it doesn't matter. We'll just be mediocre, I guess.
So, yeah, I know. Well, that's the whole point. It stops innovation. Because if you and I are going for the same job and I'm horrible at it, and you're really good at it, but then we get the same outcome, and, you busted your butt the whole entire time, and I just drug my feet, barely did anything, then what's the point? And what's going to make you do? You're going to be like, well, I'm not doing this. I'm going to do what this guy's doing. I'm not going to kill myself and watch him sit around and do nothing. And
so there was a story, right, I heard from this teacher, a professor, and apparently she took the class and said, okay, we're going to understand communism, okay? She goes ahead and says, we're going to take the average of everybody in the class, and for the next, class season, year, whatever it was, we're going to take everybody's average, and that's what everybody's going to get. Well, in the beginning, right, the first quarter, you had everybody, the smart people were doing their thing, and the lazy people were doing their thing, and, they got like a B overall. They said, oh, this is great. Well, guess what? The people that were exceeding expectations, trying to get good grades, said, hey, how come I didn't get an A? Why'd I get the B? Then they start slacking off because, well, apparently there's no encouragement, no reward for doing good. So we're going to slack off, too, like everybody else. By the time it was over, everybody failed.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, I did a horrible job explaining that. I'm sorry, but that's really what we're looking at is that's what these policies produce is, if there's no encouragement and no reward for good behavior and there's no punishment for bad behavior, then you're going to get bad behavior. I mean, where are you at?
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, that's the way it should be. It should be everything should be based off of meritocracy, because then you're never going to enhance, you're never going to innovate, you're never going to move forward, you're going to fall behind, and you're going to live in the dark ages, and that's what it's going to be. I mean, that's why we became the country that we were, because we were innovators, and we wanted to move forward. We wanted to create instead of destroy or just be complacent. Nobody wanted that. So anyway.
Well, luckily for us, Damon, right now, the overachievers have said that they've had enough, and we're trying to take that back. And that's why we got Trump in there in November, and we're ready to start seeing those shifts continue. We're already seeing movement, but we're ready to take it back. We're not going to allow this to happen anymore.
I hope so. I hope people, come out and do what's right. And like I said, I'll never play in the NBA, neither will you. And it just can't happen. I can't dunk. I can't dribble that well. I'm not good at it. I am good as a carpenter, though. That's why I've excelled at that. That was one thing I was good at. But I'm not too bad on the radio either. I don't think so. I mean, some people say I suck, but
sounds good to me, buddy. I don't know.
Well, I'm using your mic this time.
I did hear that you're a traitorous, evil. What did that lady say in that comment?
Something about stop talking about Jesus, you traitorous monster.
Yeah.
Something like that. So we have another caller, Pete. Hey, caller, you're live. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
Good evening. My name is Linda, and I'm from Vineland, and I listen to the programs on WVLT all the time.
Okay.
And I enjoy the station. In fact, I've been listening to it since I've been a teenager. All I wanted to say is I enjoy listening to everybody, and this is going to sound like a criticism, but it's not. I'm not originally from Vineland, and when I'm listening to, it doesn't matter whose show it is, the grammar that's being used is off-putting because there's a lot of double negatives and a lot of ain't this and use guys, and it just doesn't. If the grammar was better, and maybe this is something you guys could work on, I think the message would be so much stronger. That's all I wanted to say, because I was just listening, and I heard so many ain'ts, and that's, you're talking about education. Well, if you have a good education, you're going to use good grammar. And that was it.
Okay.
Nothing political.
No, I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Linda.
So think
Thank you.
about it when
I try to be a man of the people.
Yeah. Well, you should be an inspiration to the people because you're a leader. You have a leadership role being on the radio. So I think that I hear a lot of kids speak incorrectly too, and I think it makes a big difference in. I mean, George Bush does not use the wrong English. His grammar's perfect, and it makes him seem, it makes him sound strong. That's all I'm saying. So try to eliminate the ain'ts and the double negatives and use guys and that. And I'm telling you, you are. Well, I don't know about me, but I think more of my friends would listen.
Okay, well,
I listen all the time.
All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely
really it.
fair enough, Linda.
Okay, take care.
You too as well.
All right, thank you for calling in.
You're welcome. Bye.
I would say she's talking about you, Pete, because during a monologue.
She's definitely talking about me.
Because I did say ain't in the monologue, but I wrote it that way on purpose. Because I wrote it that way definitely on purpose. That Lady Liberty ain't so blind anymore. That was on purpose. But no, I'm just joking. So anyway, where were we? But no, listen, take the criticism, man. We have to.
Listen, I'm taking it. I understand, and it's not a bad point. You know, I'll try to go ahead and fix up my speech as best I can. You know, but on the radio, I like to have a little fun too. You know.
Yeah, it's hard coming off a job site too. When I come off the job site talking to the guys and then literally drive here from the job site and jump in the studio. It's hard to turn that off. And then it's hard between podcasts too and the radio show. You can say certain things on the podcast that you cannot say on the radio. So it's hard to differentiate. But
yeah, you get wrapped up. You know, we're sitting here. It's just like I'm having a conversation with you. You know, and I have to go ahead and remember that we are live on the air and try to do better.
That's all it's about, trying to do better. So what happened with that fire? Where was that? Was that in Ocean County?
Ocean County. I can pull it up right now.
They found it was a kid lighting crates on fire?
Apparently, they identified that it was a 19-year-old male who was setting pallets on fire and left before the fire was properly put out. They said today about 50% of the fire is contained. But apparently they said it was one of the worst fires that we've had in New Jersey in like 20 years or something.
I would say so. I haven't heard of one in New Jersey like that in a long time. We didn't hear about
around 15,000 acres in Ocean County.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, I didn't keep myself, apprised to it, what was going on. I heard about it, and then I heard about it was a kid that set pallets on fire. I didn't know if it was intentional or just a mistake. Sounds like it was a mistake, but I didn't know how many acres it was or how long it's been since we had a forest fire like that here in New Jersey. That's something. So I'm hoping that I don't know how many houses that it got to or how many people, it hurt economically. If their house burned down, we have to look into that because I don't want to talk about it.
I don't think that any houses burnt down. It did say that a commercial building and some outbuildings were burned down. Apparently 5,000 people, I think, had to evacuate from the area around Lacey and Ocean Townships. Apparently they lifted that now. But, yeah, I mean, that's a big fire, and accidents happen, and, everybody just needs to be careful when they're out there, enjoying themselves, especially young people.
Yeah, young mistakes. What was that? Smokey the Bear. Any more commercial about Smokey the Bear? At least it wasn't intentional. Because I was kind of curious. We had a lot of rain before this fire hit. And I was like, wow, the wildfire like this, usually, it's after a month worth of no rain, everything's dry, easy to start a fire. So I was wondering how it happened. And, well, here you go. And that happened to one of my friends when I was younger in Philadelphia growing up. He was in an abandoned building. It was a big warehouse. And it was wintertime. And they started a fire inside, and they were just hanging out, and they didn't put it out correctly, and the whole building burned down. And they got in a lot of
And
careful.
this young man is in jail right now.
Yep. Yeah, I know. So, but so anyway, I want to talk about we were talking about the forest fire, all the emissions that probably went up in the air. So all the crazy liberals out there, the ones that just came out with that new study. When we were talking about how dogs affect the environment now, and cats. They can't.
And cows. Don't forget cows. They fart way too much.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I mean, it was just so funny reading. I had to bring it up again because, right here it says, these include, they disturb wildlife. They're polluting waterways from flea and tick medications and feces, and contributing to carbon emissions through pet food production. For example, studies cited in outlets like The Guardian and Mother Jones note that dogs can disrupt native species and that the pet food industry has a sizable carbon footprint. However, these reports often provoke backlash, blah, 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 from pet owners. So you can't have your pets, you can't eat your cows, you can't have your steaks, you can't have your gas stoves, you can't have any of that stuff. But the only reason why I bring it up, Pete, is because the one thing that we can have is the illegal immigrant that was deported to El Salvador, Brego Garcia, because apparently that guy must not have a carbon footprint whatsoever. So all the lefties, they want him back. He has to come back to Maryland, the Maryland father. He has to come back. And now they're going over there to see him. But all the Democrats, I don't know why they're dying.
I heard four more, right? Because it was originally the one guy, Van Hollen or whatever, from Delaware, but I believe that, or from Maryland rather. But I believe that now they said four more. We're going to be taking that trip.
Yeah.
All on the taxpayers' dime, by the way. We're floating that bill.
Well, we floated Van Hollen's bill, but I don't know if the other ones are going to learn from his mistake. So we'll see about that. But even when he was over there, all the time he talked to him, he asked him the question, did you ever ask him if he was part of the MS-13 gang? And he's like, no, I didn't.
Okay. I didn't think that was important.
No, I didn't think, no, not at all. I don't think that was an important question to ask him, if he was considered a terrorist, deemed by the United States, that MS-13 Trinidad Aragua are terrorists. So that wasn't an important question to ask. We just need to get him back to Maryland.
Yeah, whereas, his wife and his kids are, and, she files police reports because he's naughty.
I just don't get it, though. I mean, why do they want to die on that hill? Why pick this? Because they don't care about this guy at all. They could care less what happens to him. It's all political stunt. But why die on that hill with this one
it's
guy?
It's all virtue signaling. I mean, they continue to be on the wrong side of 80-20 issues. We speak about it all the time.
Yeah, why go against rain? Pete, we got another caller on the line. So, hello, caller. You're live on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, it's Seth, man. What's up, boss?
Hey, what's up, Seth? How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there.
Hey, Seth, how you doing?
Doing well. Can't complain. Figured I'd call to give you a little bit of hard time while you're on the air.
Yeah. Well,
Appreciate you.
It's good hearing from you, buddy. It really is good hearing from you. You're in Maryland, correct?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about your congressman?
I think he's a schmuck. I think most of the politicians in Maryland are useless. Our governor sucks butt. He's just going to tax us to death and then smile while he's doing it. And everybody else just falls in line with him. Very few people put up a fight. They just smile, nod, and grab their ankles.
Wow. Well, you guys don't have the governor election coming up. I believe New Jersey and I think only one other state has an election coming up for governor's race, because we have our governor's race this year, 2025.
How does that look?
Well, it's going to be a tight primary. I mean, there's some primary contenders, so that's June 10th. Whoever comes out, I mean, Trump only lost New Jersey by 5 points, so almost kind of flipped it red. That's what their main goal is, to flip it red. And, I mean, Murphy has turned out, thank God. I mean, that guy was the worst governor in my lifetime, I would say. But so he's turned out, and there's a couple other characters on the Democrat side who I pray don't get in. So it's going to be a big race all summer. Whoever wins this primary is going to have to put on not, I won't say show, but get out there and really work hard to win over not just Republicans, but independents and some Democrats as well, and just keep riding on the red wave that we have going, even though, some people are worried about the economy and the tariffs and everything else that's going on. But it's almost 100 days. I don't think we made it. No, we didn't make 100 days yet in office. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I still have faith.
Well, I mean, as long as you don't get a guy like we got with Wes Moore, you'll be fine. If you get someone like we got, you're in trouble.
So,
Well, we've had that for the past 8 years.
yeah, we have. There we have.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised with our governor. I mean, he's a Democrat, so he doesn't really care about anybody except people who don't belong here and criminals. He doesn't care about taxpayers, and it's starting to show more and more. And then the rumor is, and it's just a rumor, but our old Republican, I use that in quotes, Governor Hogan wants to run for governor again against Westmore. So either way, we're going to be screwed next election time for us. I think that's next year for us. For governor, I think it's next year.
Well,
But if Hogan runs again and he wins, we're screwed. If Moore runs and wins, we're screwed. Either way, we'd be screwed.
Well, maybe it's time Seth ran for governor.
I was thinking about it.
well, we got to get you back, man. Got to get you back in the conservative corner.
Yeah, I got to get. Like I said, man, I've been laid up for going 3 months now. It's starting to look a little bit better, but I still got a little bit of work to put in before I'm good. I mean, I still got that nasty gash on the top of my foot that hasn't healed yet, so I got to deal with all that physical therapy. So once that gets good and I'm back to 100%, I would definitely be back because I got to pace myself.
Yeah, man, we've been thinking about you. Thinking about getting you on the pulse when that gets started on the podcast. So, everybody's got prayers out there for you. Waiting
I
for you to
appreciate
get back.
it, man.
I mean, it seems like we're all falling apart. Since you went out, when you were in the hospital for a long time, and
About a month and a half.
yeah,
Yeah, about a month and a half.
yeah, and then me, I had a little hospital stint when I got epidurals in my back. They hit me with a bacteria in my bloodstream, that sepsis. I was in the hospital for days. So, but got over it rather quickly. And
Well, that's good.
and my co-host Pete's a nurse too, so he contributed a lot. Helping me
Well,
out.
that helps. I mean, knowing somebody that knows medical stuff is always good to have in your corner.
Yeah.
Well, I try to do the best I can. That's all I can do.
That's all anybody can do, man. Keep moving forward, even if it's one step at a time.
And Seth, Pete's actually running for assembly LD 6. That's
Nice.
Camden County.
Very good.
Yep, I was right here on the radio when I got the call.
Nice. Is it a tight race? Is a lot of people in there? Is it?
Well,
As far as the Republicans go, it's just me and my running mate Jack. So we're going to the the general. They do have a couple of primaries for the Democrat side. The incumbent has been in there for about 29 years, and then I'm not sure who the other ones are. So we'll just have to wait till after the primary to see.
Well, that incumbent's got to go. 29 years is 25 years too long.
yeah, you're right about that.
You can't make a career out of politics. It wasn't meant to be like that. Never was.
Yeah, no, it should be, and there should be term limits too. There absolutely should be. But I mean, say if it was Congress, 3 terms, 6 years, or Senate, 2 years, 2 terms, 12 years for U.S. Senate, you'd be fine. Unless you want to go further, you want to go into governor, you want to run for president one day, whatever, that's fine. But in that, for that position, I believe there should be term limits.
Oh, I agree. And I think if you go to D.C. as a congressman or a senator, your pay should be based on the median pay of your state. That's it. If your state average salary is $50,000 a year and you get elected to Congress, guess what you make a year? $50,000. You want to make more money, improve your state, get that median salary raise, and you get a raise. But if you don't, you don't. I don't think you should make $100,000 or free health care for life. None of that. You get what you people in your state make.
I never thought about that. That's incentive right there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I get...
Well, we were talking about mediocrity and trying to achieve better, earlier in the episode. So I mean, that's right on task.
Oh, yeah. I mean, figure if you get hired to a job making $200,000 a year and you get to keep all your benefits, what's your incentive to make things better?
Yeah, exactly. And then I believe you get a pension for life.
Yeah, you're just there to tread water and collect a paycheck. That's it.
Yeah,
Well, that's what the old people are there for, brother. I'm there to try to make change.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, that's why you need term limits. I think term limits are important, and I think salary should be based on the state. And I think that would really add some incentive. It would also get people who want to run because they want to help. Not get people to run who want to get rich.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, that's what you see in all these politicians. I mean, ask me AOC, who makes $177 grand a year, is worth about $20 million right now. So,
Yeah. And nobody bats an eye. Nobody questions it. Like, oh, okay. No, it's not okay. It's as far from okay as you can get.
So that's why we need normal people in. That's why we need these podcasters like you and I and Pete and radio show hosts just to put the truth out there and get people to run too. I mean, and Jack, his running mate, he said the best. We were on the next space. We were talking to a bunch of people, and it wasn't just about getting people out to vote. You know, yeah, you need to get people out to vote. People need to care about their elections and get out there and make their voices heard by casting a vote. But to really make some change is for people to run, people to get involved. Just even on a lower level, from committee on up, you know, to run for these positions and start getting involved. And if they want to go further, go further. But that's where it starts in the small local communities and rising up from there. Because we're not a top-down government; we're a bottom-up.
100% true. Local government affects your life more than federal government.
Yeah,
well,
correct.
I keep trying to say that too. Is that we need to get more people involved in these GOP committees and these GOP clubs and things like that, and then we can start to see the cream rise to the top. Okay, I think you guys will make a great candidate. Let's go ahead and promote you. You go to some of these meetings, there may only be 10 people, 8 people. We need more people. We especially need more young people.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. The younger the better. I mean, I'm the vice president of a conservative club where I live, and we on a good meeting we'll get 15, 20 people, but on average it's probably 10 people. So yeah, we need more people involved, more people getting out there and getting the word out. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, we need to be filling these buildings up with 50 people. That's every little town gets 50 people out there. Well, okay, now we have some leaders going.
Oh yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree 100% with all that. Republicans aren't. Well, I will say this: Democrats can mobilize and get people together quickly, and I respect it. It's very impressive the way they can do that. Republicans, on the other hand, can't do that. We don't mobilize quickly. It takes us forever to get things going, and that's got to change.
Well, that's one of the same things I've been saying too. Is that we go ahead and we all just want to be left alone to live our lives. The problem is that when that happens, we allow these evil people to get into these vacant spots. And then they actually control our lives without us even realizing.
No, you're preaching to the choir, brother. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, you think about it, a lot of people didn't know what their kids were being taught in schools until COVID. And
that's crazy. I mean, I always say that if you ask 5 people to name like 4 people on their favorite football team, they can do it like within seconds. You ask those same 5 people to name 3 of their school teachers in their kids' school, they'd look at you like they were deer in a headlight.
Yeah.
They'd have no idea.
You are right about that. And I'm actually one of the guilty persons on that. I do know 3 in my kids' school. But sometimes when my wife will ask me a question, she'll hit, what teacher am I talking about? I'm like, come on. I'm at work all day. It's just, that's why we're partners. You pick up the slack where I leave off.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, we need to get more involved. It's getting there slowly. It's just a work in progress, but it's got to move quicker. We got to get more people involved quicker. We can't sit back. If in 4 years it's going to be another tough fight. We just can't sit back and wait. We have to get ready now.
Yeah, you're right. And I think I said, I mean, you're a vet, correct?
Yes.
So I mean, it's better than fighting a war. Because when you have to go to war and everything starts over, hopefully you win that war, and then you start over and with a whole new look upon life. And so, well, we just got out of a war, okay? We won, we lost, but we're still moving on as a country. And it shouldn't have to the war shouldn't have to reset everything. I mean,
right.
we're close to like a war from within right now, within the country, that we have to battle. And people need to get step out and stand just for common sense. And I don't ask anybody to do anything other than, go with common sense, things that actually make sense, things that are real.
So I have a lot of conversations with different people, and a big common theme that I hear, all the time right now is that we are in a war, a spiritual war of good versus evil. And we're starting to see good people stand up and try to take that back because we can't allow this to continue.
Well, I agree. I mean, common sense nowadays is so rare, it should be considered a superpower. I mean, it's sad. At this point, it's just sad what people allow to happen. And then you go, oh, well, it is what it is. That's why we got where we're at now. People just, oh, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why you need people to step up, and a lot of people are. I mean, it's hard. It is hard for people that are used to their everyday job and to put themselves in front of other people and make them put themselves in the limelight. It is hard when it's something that they're not used to. But
Oh, yeah.
but you do get used to it, and you don't have to be a star. You just need to convince people to be active and convince people, to at least have the conversation. You're not ever going to agree with everybody. You're not always going to agree with you. But at least have the conversation and talk about it, to work it out, and to say, okay, well, we differ in these ways, but at least we're heading in the same direction, for the betterment of our state and our country moving forward. But you may think we should go a different route. I mean, that's why they have different parties. They have different ways of looking at things. But there still has to be a compromise to where, okay, we're still America first. I'm still looking at you as an American, and you look at me as an American. I'm not looking at you as an enemy or anything like that. It's just we need to have the dialogue and the conversation to get anywhere. They're not going to move on. You're not going to prosper without that at all.
No, you're right. I mean, I'd like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I say everybody wants to get to the same place. We're just going about it in different directions. We all want the same thing for our families. We want to be safe. We want to have food. We want to have money. We want to be able to relax and enjoy time with our kids and our wives and our husbands. We just have different ways of getting there, and that's fine. We just have to come to some type of common ground on the way to get there. That way we can make things better.
So you're right.
So polarized.
You're right about that, Seth. So thanks for calling in, Seth. It was good hearing your voice again, man. Can't wait till you're fully back in action. And you can put some pressure on your foot and you're healed. And everyone out there, I just want to let you know, Seth has a GoFundMe out there as well. I mean, he's been out of work for a while, and the hospital bills are beat up. I know he hates me saying this too, because Seth doesn't like to ask anybody for anything, but he had a GoFundMe set up, and I was that on Facebook? Seth?
Yeah.
For
yeah.
Jonah Eisenberg. It goes by Seth though, but Jonah Eisenberg. So if you want to tell people where you find it, just find it on Facebook under your page.
Yeah, you can go to the Conservative Corner on Facebook, and it's posted there, or you can just go to X and it's under the Conservative Corner there as well. But yeah, out of work for 3.5 months. Like for another couple of months, I'll be out. But slowly getting better, and I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Well, it was good to hear your voice again. Thanks for calling in, and I'm about to talk about this book here. So since you're sitting home laid up, you should think about buying this book I'm about to promote, because it's pretty good.
I'll listen to it too, see what it's all about.
All right, you got it, Seth. Thanks for calling in.
All right, Seth, have a great day, man. Speedy recovery.
You too. Thank you very much, boss. Bye.
All right, so Jonah Seth Eisenberg there, Conservative Corner, and a great podcast until he got an infection and in and out of the hospital for a while. He's been dealing with a lot, man. I feel bad for him. But hopefully his book will cheer him up and he gets his hands on it. So this is the book, Bone Deep Blues. Bone Deep Blues is ripped from today's headlines by New Jersey author Brian O'Callahan. This book is an award-winning international bestseller that delivers action, suspense, and humor. The story follows J.D. Walker, a former Navy SEAL turned blues musician, as he confronts human trafficking network led by a figure known as the Ice Queen. When those close to J.D. are taken, he finds himself in a high-stakes chess game. An auction to sell his brother's fiancée is about to take place. Now, Brian O'Callahan is a former police detective. He combines personal experiences and extensive research, weaving in his passion for blues music. Bone Deep Blues kicks off the J.D. Walker action series and reviews. J.D. Walker Venture by Brian R. O'Callahan, and it has a 4.8 out of 5-star reviews. I've read it. It's a very good book, and I want to reach out to you, Brian, after the show tonight, see how far along you are. I keep telling people the second book's coming out. So, but all right. Well, there's that. I think we have another caller on the line. So, hey, caller, you're live on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
Yeah, Alex from Buna.
Hello, Alex. How you doing?
Good. I've been listening to these, and when Congress was first started, they were supposed to just go down there when they had business and go back to their home state. And if they would do that now, because I don't know why we need to have two offices, because what it does, it makes I forgot the name now. I just lost my thought. The people that go around and want something.
The lobby?
And it makes it easy. The lobbyists. There we go.
Okay.
I had a brain.
I got you.
Anyway, if they would do away with what they're doing now, have one office at their home, go down there maybe once a week or whenever they need business to attend to, and not just feel-good stuff, real business, that would break up the lobbyists because, they live down there, and they go after all these congressmen and senators, and they get what they want. And that's how they get rich, the congressmen and senators, because they're lobbyists.
No, you're right. And
The way it was set up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of them campaign on things that they're going to do and things that they're going that they're going to make better in whether it's their county or their state or for the country as a whole. And they campaign on these things, and maybe they push some of it through. But then the longer you're in and the more you're around that, it seems the more compromised they get, and they start, kicking the can down the road a little bit, I would say, just to get elected again, and kind of fall into that trap. So, okay, well, I'll keep you elected. I'll throw money at your campaign, like you said, the lobbyists, and we'll make sure you have this many commercials. We'll put you out there. We'll sell you as the brand. But when it comes time for this, you're going to have to vote this way, and that's not how it should be. And unfortunately, it is. But that's something that we have to get rid of.
That's a lot of our tax dollars are being wasted because they have two offices. They need one in their home state where they belong, and then they go to Washington once a week, once every 2 weeks, to have bills passed that mean something, and not feel-good bills. Like some of them, they stand in grandstand and, we got to have this passed because of this and that. No, let's get back to the way it was formed and why it was formed. It wasn't formed to go down there and live and have all the lobbyists every day in there, trying to convince you that this is what you need to do.
So, no, you're right about that. And listen, I just got to say thank you for calling in. We're wrapping up our show here.
Yeah, I know. You're right up at the hour.
Yeah.
All right, guys, good show.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it very much. So, all right, people, we're going to wrap it up. We have the Bob and Bob show coming on. Put a smile on your face after this. So I just want to let everybody know for the Jersey Shore Radio Show and podcast. Obviously, Jersey Shore Radio Show is every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. and Cruisin 92.1 WVLT. And Jersey Shore Podcast is Monday nights at 8 p.m. and Friday nights at 8 p.m. as well. You can find that on Rumble, X, YouTube. It airs live on all social media outlets simultaneously. And you can find that under the America's Pulse Network. That's the network that their podcasts are under, that my podcast is under. We're all part of that network. So, Pete, where can they find you and Jack?
Well, you can find me on Peter Sykes on Facebook. Jack is also on there, Jack Brand. We have a Vote Pete and Jack Facebook page as well. You can go to votepeteandjack.com and check out, the different platforms that we have and things like that. Read a little bit more about us. And we will have our donate button up and running here shortly. So anybody that's inclined to make a little donation, we greatly appreciate it. And once again, that's votepeteandjack. Oh my God, I'm jacked up. VoteJackandPete.com.
So
I'm trying to put myself first, man. I got a problem. I need to slow down.
all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Got the Bob and Bob show coming up next. Have a good night.
All righty, bye-bye.
Monero's Appliances in Vineland is having their spring appliance sale. Right now, when you buy 4 or more eligible cafe appliances, you can get up to $3,800 back. GE Cafe Appliances offer a high-performance, restaurant-inspired, luxurious look for your kitchen. And it comes in stainless steel, matte black, matte white, and platinum glass finishes. So why not visit Monero's Appliances today, where you always get a huge selection, professional delivery and setup, and 3.5% sales tax, and 12 months no-interest financing with approved credit. And don't forget, Monero's has appliances and vacuum parts and accessories for all brands. That's Monero's Appliances, 1888 South Delsey Drive in Vineland. Phone 856-692-790.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth. Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.